You ever drive down a long, empty road at night? Nothing but your headlights cutting through the dark. No houses, no signs, just the hum of the engine and the endless stretch of asphalt.
Yeah, why does that sound like the start of something really bad?
Because, my friend, sometimes things that get left behind on those roads don't really stay behind. And sometimes they hitch a ride. Michael was a seasoned taxi driver, the kind of guy who's seen it all. Drunk businessmen, lost tourists, even the occasional weirdo. But nothing prepared him for the ride he picked up that night.
Oh man, where was this?
Outskirts of Nevada, middle of nowhere. Just a lonely diner off the highway. That's where Michael saw him, a man standing alone under the buzzing neon sign, no bags, no phone, just standing there.
Okay, that's already creepy. What, was he staring or something?
No, worse. He was too still, too pale. When he slid into the back seat, all he muttered was thank you and an address far out in the desert.
Alright, rule number 1. Never drive some random dude into the desert at night.
Michael didn't think much of it. Odd passengers weren't unusual. But this one didn't talk. No small talk, no phone, no checking directions. Just silence. 20 minutes into the drive, the city lights had disappeared. It was just them, the road, and the desert. That's when Michael saw it.
So what?
A man, standing in the middle of the road. Michael slammed the brakes, his heart hammering. His eyes darted to the rearview mirror. His passenger was still sitting there, silent and unmoving. But in front of the car, staring directly at him, was the same man he just saw.
No way. He's in the back and on the road at the same time.
Michael's throat went dry. His hands tightened on the wheel. Then, the man in the back seat finally spoke. Is everything okay? His voice was too calm, too measured. Michael forced a laugh. Yeah, I just thought I saw something, and he kept driving. But he was gripping that wheel so tight, his knuckles turned white. As they drove deeper into the desert, the unease grew. The GPS wouldn't load. The road stretched on forever, looping into the darkness. Then, out of nowhere, the man spoke again. Can I sit in the front?
Hell no.
Michael's gut screamed at him, but something in the man's voice made it impossible to refuse. He pulled over, hesitated just for a second.
That second was his only chance to leave. He should have left.
But he didn't. The man slipped into the front seat. And in the dim light of the dashboard, Michael finally noticed his skin too pale, almost waxy. His nails were long, grimy, and his face, it didn't move, it just sat there like a mask.
Bro, I would have hit the gas so fast.
Michael kept driving, too scared to stop. Then, finally, the man pointed. There it is. Michael squinted. A shack, a single lantern flickering outside. The place looked abandoned. But the man, he seemed satisfied.
I bet he was. He brought him home.
Michael dropped him off and wasted no time turning the car around. But as he reached for his water bottle, something caught his eye, a wallet, left behind on the passenger seat. He opened it, half expecting to see, well, nothing. But there was an ID inside, the face in the picture, the same man. But the ID expired, over 20 years ago.
Oh, him, no.
Michael slammed the brakes. His stomach turned. He took the wallet straight to the police station. When the officer saw it, his face changed. This man, the officer muttered, was a suspect in a series of robberies and murders decades ago. People say he was killed by his partner, left to die out in the desert, but no one really knows.
Yeah, because he never left the desert.
After this incident, Michael always hesitated, picking up a rider late at night whose drop-off location was in the desert.
He is brave. I would have stopped driving at night.
You ever go to a wedding and feel like something just isn't right? Like among all the smiles and laughter, there's something lurking underneath.
Wait, weddings. I thought we were talking about ghosts on highways.
Oh, trust me. Some hauntings don't need highways. Some start with just a look in a crowded place. It all began at a wedding. Lively, colorful affair. Filled with laughter and joy, among the crowd sat a man named Aaron. He wasn't remarkable in appearance, nor did he have much to his name. But none of that mattered, because his eyes were fixed on one person, Sarah.
Oh no, please don't tell me this is one of those he falls in love instantly and everything goes wrong kind of stories.
Worse, because this wasn't love, it was obsession. Aaron tried to approach her, to make small talk, but Sarah was polite yet distant. Her subtle avoidance didn't deter him. If anything, it fueled his resolve.
Yeah, see, that's when you walk away.
Aaron didn't. He decided, in that moment, that he would win her, by any means. Desperation drove him to a dark decision. He sought the help of a black magic practitioner, someone who promised him results, for a price.
Oh, come on, dude. This never ends well.
In the dead of night, Aaron stood outside Sarah's home, scattering ashes near the entrance as instructed. The air around him felt heavy, as if the act itself had drawn something unnatural close. But Aaron didn't stop there. He turned to the one person who could seal the deal. His mother. She was a pious, kind-hearted woman, admired for her grace. With gifts in hand and a convincing smile, she visited Sarah's family. She spoke of her son with warmth and affection, a man who would love Sarah like no other.
Classic approach. Who wouldn't listen to a pious woman?
Sarah's mother hesitated. She pointed out Aaron's lack of ambition, his uncertain future. But somehow her doubts melted away. And Sarah, who had been indifferent before, began to feel something. A pull, a strange, inexplicable connection.
Because that's totally normal. No red flags there.
Within weeks, the proposal was accepted. And just like that, Sarah agreed to marry him. After the wedding, Sarah moved to Aaron's modest home. His mother welcomed her with open arms, treating her like the daughter she never had.
This is the part where everything seems fine, right?
Exactly. But it wasn't. Aaron worked late night shifts, and each night before leaving, he would bring Sarah a glass of milk.
No, I don't trust that milk.
There was also a room in the house that was always locked. When Sarah asked about it, her mother-in-law simply said, "It was my late husband's study. We keep it locked as a memorial."
Yeah, okay, but who locks a room as a memorial? That's just suspicious.
One night, Sarah woke feeling groggy. The air felt thick, oppressive. She heard murmurs, soft and eerie, drifting through the hallway. Fearing for her mother-in-law, she got out of bed. Her limbs were heavy, her head spinning, but she pressed on.
The milk! I knew it.
The whispers led her to the locked room. She called out, her voice trembling, "Yo, Aaron." But no one answered.
She should not be near that door.
The murmurs grew louder, turning into rhythmic chants. She tried the door, but it wouldn't budge. It was locked. From the inside, Sarah stumbled back to her room, collapsing into an uneasy sleep. The next day, she couldn't shake her unease. With the house empty, she searched her mother-in-law's room and found the key.
Oh no! This is the part where she finds something terrible inside.
Her hands trembled as she turned the lock. The door creaked open, revealing a room that smelled of burnt incense and decay. Symbols were scrawled across the walls, their patterns unsettling and chaotic. And at its heart was a human skull. And among the scattered fragments of personal items, a piece of cloth. Sarah recognized immediately. It was from her dress.
No, I knew it.
She turned to see her mother-in-law standing in the doorway. The warmth in her eyes was gone, replaced by a cold, calculating gaze.
Run, this is where she dies, isn't it?
"You weren't supposed to find this," the older woman said, her voice eerily calm.
Dude, this is so messed up.
Sarah backed away. "What is this? Where's Aaron?" Her mother-in-law's lips curled into a chilling smile. "You're asking all the wrong questions." And that's when she knew. Aaron and his mother had orchestrated everything. Her feelings, her marriage, her very presence in this house. She had been bound by something dark and sinister.
Tell me she gets out. Please tell me she gets out.
That night, Sarah didn't wait to find out what they had planned next. She packed a small bag and fled, the sound of her mother-in-law's voice echoing behind her.
I swear if I ever hear whispering at night, I'm moving to another country.
Sarah never returned. Sarah escaped. But did she really? They say black magic lingers even when you leave it behind. Maybe she's still out there, feeling its pull. Feeling afraid of the day it drags her back.
Man, you're saying she could still be cursed.
What do you think?
I don't know. Let's leave this as it is.
Okay, let's shift gears. Now, imagine a different kind of late-night terror, one that unfolds in a quiet office. It was nearly midnight, and Maya was alone. The rest of the staff had left hours ago, leaving her to finish the last of the overdue data entries. The glow of her computer's screen illuminated her tired face as she typed, the clacking of the keyboard echoing through the empty space.
I can almost feel the loneliness of that office.
Maya wasn't a fan of the late shift, but the work was overdue. Her desk was tucked away in the far corner, away from the large windows that overlooked the city. The isolation often felt suffocating, but tonight it felt different. Heavier, almost oppressive. She brushed the feeling aside.
That oppressive feeling. It always sets the stage for something unsettling.
Then the phone rang. It wasn't her cell phone, it was the office landline. The shrill sound startled her, and she stared at the receiver, confused. No one ever called the office this late. After a moment's hesitation, she picked it up.
I wonder who could be calling at this hour.
Hello. A static-filled silence greeted her. She was about to hang up when a voice emerged that sounded exactly like hers. You need to leave, now. Her breath caught. Who is this? She demanded, her voice trembling. But the line went dead. Maya hung up, her hand lingering on the receiver. It had to be a prank. Some kind of elaborate joke. Yet, a chill ran down her spine. She glanced around the office. The rows of empty cubicles stretched out like a maze of shadows. Everything seemed still, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. As she tried to focus on her work, the phone rang again. She hesitated, then answered.
I wouldn't have answered.
You're not alone. You need to leave now. Maya's heart raced. She slammed the phone down and immediately checked the security cameras on her computer. The grainy feeds displayed empty hallways, the break room, the elevator lobby. Nothing out of the ordinary. But as she stared at the screen, she noticed movement in the corner of one feed. A shadow flickered near the emergency exit, just for a moment, then vanished. Her palms grew sweaty. She tried to convince herself it was nothing, maybe a trick of the light, or a glitch in the camera. But then, the phone rang again. Maya didn't want to answer, but the persistent ringing made it impossible to ignore. With trembling hands, she picked up. Hello, the voice chuckled softly. You're wasting time. Maya slammed the receiver down, her mind racing. She grabbed her bag and decided it was time to leave. But as she stood up, the lights flickered. For a split second, the entire office was plunged into darkness before the fluorescent lights buzzed back to life.
Why would this happen when she was already leaving?
Her eyes darted to the security feeds. Her heart sank. On the screen, she saw a figure standing near her desk, just out of view of the camera's lens. Maya froze, clutching her bag. She knew she should run, but her legs refused to move. Summoning her courage, she grabbed a metal paperweight from her desk and crept toward the hallway. The office was eerily quiet, each step she took echoing loudly. She reached the break room, her pulse hammering in her ears. She peered inside. Empty, but the faint scent of cologne lingered in the air, one she didn't recognize. She was about to turn back when she heard a faint sound behind her, like the shuffling of feet. Whipping around, she saw nothing but the empty hallway. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. A new notification popped up, missed call from office landline. The office phone hadn't rung. Panicking, Maya returned to her desk and checked the cameras again. The shadowy figure was back, standing still in the middle of the break room. But something about the image made her stomach churn. It wasn't moving, yet its blurry outline seemed to shift, like a poorly tuned signal. Maya didn't wait and fled the office, her heels clattering against the cold pavement, the oppressive silence of the night swallowing her hurried steps. She fumbled with her car keys, her heart pounding as she unlocked the door and slid into the driver's seat. The engine roared to life, and for a moment, she allowed herself a breath of relief. But then her cell phone buzzed, jolting her back into panic. She glanced down. The screen displayed a number she knew all too well, the office landline. Her heart raced. She knew no one should be there, not after what she had just experienced. The phone kept buzzing, insistent, relentless. Against her better judgment, driven by a mix of morbid curiosity and fear, she answered. Maya, a raspy voice drawled on the other end, sending shivers down her spine. It was low, guttural, like someone speaking from the bottom of a well. So, you finally decided to leave! Good for you! Before she could respond, the line went dead, replaced by a static hum. Then came the sound. A very loud crash echoed from the direction of the office building, a sound so loud it seemed to shake the ground beneath her car. There was a blast. The entire floor caught fire.
A blast. So they wanted her to leave before they destroy the floor.
It seemed so. Maya was shaken. She drove away, her fingers trembling on the wheel. She called the police. Her voice shook as she explained the situation, but they assured her that the fire department has been dispatched.
That ringing, that call, it must have haunted her.
Relief washed over her as she drove away from the building.